All right, so here's part 2 of the video. I wanted to make sure I was doing that correctly. Everything looked good. All right, so for your brain dump, remember, fanboys, a white bus, hotshot cat. Another important thing you guys need to remember, apostrophes, okay? So I'm just going to draw a box here, kind of small for my apostrophes. Remember guys, apostrophes, there's only 2 reasons that we use apostrophes. The first reason that we use apostrophes is for contractions. So words such as it's, we're going to use an apostrophe to show that this word really represents it is. Okay? Now, the second reason we use apostrophes is for possessives. And this sometimes is kind of tricky, okay? Remember, you're just going to use an apostrophe to show ownership of something, okay? So there's 2 rules you guys have to remember, apostrophe S and S apostrophe. Remember, if it's apostrophe S, that means that it belongs to one person. So we call that singular possessive. And if it's S apostrophe, that means it's plural possessive, okay? So let me give you an example, apostrophe S. What if I said, the girl's hair was tangled? Do we need an apostrophe here? What you need to do is always, whatever word they're asking you to put an apostrophe on, I just like to draw an arrow to the very next word. And I ask myself, does the hair belong to the girl? The girl's hair was tangled. Does the hair belong to the girl? Yes, it does. So we know that it is possessive. Now, it passed the first test. It needs an apostrophe. But now, where does that apostrophe go, guys? Does it go before the S or does it go after the S? Well, are we talking about just one girl? Or are we talking about multiple girls, plural?
Julia, Jules to the front office. Julia to the front office. Thank you.
In this case, we're talking about the girl's hair. So we know it's singular, possessive, and it's going to be apostrophe S. All right? And then plural possessive, this is when something belongs to multiple people or multiple things, okay? And so you might have a sentence like, those girls' shoes, oh, spelled that wrong, guys, sorry, shoes smell. Those girls' shoes smell. Ugh, right? Stinky shoes. Those girls' shoes smell. All right. Do we need an apostrophe on girls? Well, remember, draw your arrow to the very next word, which would be shoes. Ask yourself, do the shoes belong to the girls? Yes, they do. Those girls' shoes smell. Now, are we talking about one girl? Like here, the girl's hair? Or are we talking about multiple girls? Those girls. In this case, guys, this is plural because we're talking about several girls. So guess where our apostrophe goes? It's going to go after the S. All right. The last part of your brain dump, and you guys probably have space at the bottom. I'm kind of running out of space, so I hope this isn't too messy for you guys. I'm going to draw a line right here. And these are just things that we need to watch out for. Okay, these are in the multiple choice part of your test, guys. Be careful. If you see that a sentence starts with a period and which, guess what? That sentence must end with a question mark. Try to start a sentence with which. Which person are you going home with? Which teacher do you have for math? Anytime you start a sentence with which, it has to end in a question mark. But you'll see that some of the answer choices on your test are not going to end in a question mark. They're going to end in a period. Guess what, guys? Get rid of that answer choice. It is wrong. Get rid of it right away. The other huge rule you guys have to remember, when you see a comma and a pronoun, so if you guys see comma he, comma she, be careful. These have to be supported by a white bus word. If you guys see this, more than likely it's a comma splice. But you need to double check. So what you need to do is now, if you see this in a sentence, look at the beginning of the sentence and see if it's supported by a white bus word. Remember those white bus words? Although, while, whenever, if, though. Look at the beginning of the sentence. Does it start with the word because? Or does it start with the word since? If it does, then this is okay. But if it doesn't, this is not okay, and it's probably a comma splice. All right? Remember, guys, a comma splice is when we have I see, comma, I see. We cannot do this. This is a huge, huge no-no. Huge, 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 huge no-no. Okay? All right. So we want to look out for period, which. We want to look out for comma and a pronoun. And we want to look out for period and starting a sentence with the word that. Usually, I'm not saying 100% of the time, but usually, guys, this is a fragment. A fragment is an incomplete sentence, okay? So, like, let's say you started a sentence with that. That girl over there. That's a complete thought. That's a fragment. All right, and the last thing I want you guys to watch out for is when you see a sentence with comma that. I like to remember these as the triple T's, comma those and comma these. Remember the rule I told you guys over here? It must be supported by a white bus word. Otherwise, it's a comma splice. Well, guess what, guys? These have to also be supported by a white bus word, okay? So watch out for these in your answer choices. They must be supported by a white bus word. And I know that took me about 15 minutes, but if you're doing this by yourself on your test, you can probably knock this out in less than that, and you will have all the rules right in front of you. Thanks, guys.